Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today, we've got Missouri high school basketball predictions. We're a week away from the playoffs. Small schools start first. The week after will be the large schools. Tuesday, February 24th, district start for the small schools. Tuesday, March 3rd for classes 4 through 6. This past week, I got a 27-9 record. I think that's the best I've had so far in the basketball season, so that was pretty good. Hopefully we can relay the momentum here. These are the final scores in Class 1 from this past week. South Iron over Eminence, 70-41. Green City defeats Lynn County, 59-26. Glasgow over Pilot Grove, 62-34. Dadeville gets a good win over Halfway, 40-37. King City, a really important win for them over a top 10 Rockport, 76-64, and Delta over Bernie, 88-69. Here's the Class 1 scoreboard for this week. Dadeville versus Billings. I'll take Billings here. They're coming off a tough loss to Marion C early. That's going to be a game that they want back, looking back on the season. They're scoring 61.7 a game. I think they build back some momentum before the playoffs. Columbia Independent versus Calvary Lutheran. These are two teams with inflated records because they played some pretty easy scheduling. Calvary Lutheran is up 5-1 in the matchup history since 2019-2020, so I'll take them here on the road. Delta versus Chaffee. Delta is down 4-11 over the past 10 years to Chaffee, but I don't think that's going to matter this year. 20 wins already this season before the playoffs start. They are undefeated at home, 12-0. I think they relay that momentum, make it 13-0 at home this season. Princeton versus Gallatin is our Class 1 game of the week. I'm going Gallatin here, 8-3 over the past 10 years against Princeton. Both are winning by 20 or more on average. So I honestly expect a close game in this one and the Bulldogs to get past Princeton. Cooter versus South Pemiscot. I will take Cooter here. They are down 2-10 in the matchup history, but they're scoring 76.8 a game. South Pemiscot just hasn't been playing very many games. They're only 17 games into the season. Compared to Cooter, they have 20 wins. So I think it would just be interesting to see, like, going into the playoffs, will the almost inexperienced, I mean, they're not inexperienced, but, like, playing a lot, like 10 less games than your playoff opponent, is that going to matter? I don't know if it will, but we'll see. Risco versus Sinneth Hornersville. I'll take Risco up 5-4 since the 2015-2016 season, scoring 67.4 a game. Here's Class 2 from this past week. Mansfield over Seymour, 55-51. Crane with a great win over Greenwood, a top 10 team in Class 3, 66-57. Penny, an upset win over Gallatin, 54-45. Lincoln, they take care of business handily, a 30-point victory over Windsor, 57-27. Salisbury gets a good win on the road, 65-58. And Moberly takes care of business and defeats Western, 60-51. Here's the Class 2 scoreboard. Hartville versus Gainesville. Give me Hartville here. 12 straight wins against the Bulldogs, allowing 40.8 a game. Norwood versus Mansfield. I'll take Norwood here, 9-7 against Mansfield since the 15-16 season, allowing 49.9 a game. Glasgow versus New Franklin. Glasgow's down 11-15 over the past 10 years in the matchup history. I'll take him in this one, though, make it 12-15. They're winning games by 19.2 on average. Slater versus Pilot Grove. Give me Slater, up 16-7 in the matchup history. They split 1-1 this season, I think. Slater makes it 2-1 going into the playoffs. Western versus Brunswick is the Class 2 game of the week. Western actually got the win earlier on in the season in this matchup, but I think Brunswick comes back and wins this one, scoring 70 points per game. South Iron versus Festus. I'll take South Iron in this one, surprisingly. Although they are 3 classes down from Festus, they're 7-2 against them since 2016-2017. I think they relay that dominance. They're winning by 20.3 on average. I don't think it'll be that big of a win, but I could see them win 5 to 10 point win. Class 3 from this past week, Palmyra over Monroe City, 51-48 in overtime. Hartville defeats Sparta 59-56. Liberty Mountain View over Licking 82-59. A low-scoring game in Higginsville, Lafayette County defeats Carrollton 49-43. Principia, good win over Class 5 Westminster 67-53. And Mid-Buchanan defeats East Buchanan 75-51. Here's the Class 3 scoreboard. Liberty Mountain View versus Salem. I will take Liberty Mountain View. They're 7-3 against Salem over the past 10 years. 18-point win differential this season. Seymour versus Sparta. These two teams are split 1-1 recently in the matchup history. I'm going to take Seymour here, only allowing 46.1 a game. This one should be interesting. West Platte versus East Buchanan. East Buchanan's got the matchup history 11-5 since the 2015-2016 season. Both teams have similar averages this year, but I will go with East Buchanan here. Woodland versus Puxico is the Class 3 game of the week. Right now, Puxico is number 1 in Class 2. They seem like the front runners to win the state championship. They are down 3-9 in the matchup history, but they're having an incredible season. 24-point win differential. I think they take care of business here against a top 5 ranked Woodland in Class 3. Bowling Green versus North Callaway. These two teams have similar averages. Bowling Green is up 8-6 in the matchup history since 2015-2016. I'll take the home team here, the Bowling Green Bobcats. Twin Rivers versus Scott City. We've got Scott City, I believe, top 3 now in Class 3. They're on a roll right now. 7-0 road record. They're looking to make it 8-0 on the road this season, winning games by 25.7 on average. I'd be crazy not to take the Bulldogs here. Class 4 from this past week, a high-scoring affair. St. Mary's over CBC, 104-85. Forsyth, a low-scoring game, 45-35 over Clever. MICDS defeats Live for Life, 62-60. Logan Rogersville over Miller Career, 83-50. Mexico defeats Osage on the road, 76-65. And the game I was at, this was an intense one in Ashland. Southern Boone defeats Hallsville, 46-44. Here's the Class 4 scoreboard for this week. Smithville versus Raytown South. I'm taking Raytown South here. They're 8-5 in the matchup history since 2018-2019, coming off a big win over Kearney, who was top 10 in Class 5. Raytown South also top 10 in Class 5. Now they're playing a Class 4 school here. I think they get it done. Bolivar versus Springfield Catholic. Give me Bolivar, 11-6 matchup history since 15-16. Springfield Catholic is allowing 63.7 a game. They're going to need to shore up this defense if they want to make a run in the playoffs. Give me the Liberators. Mexico versus Moberly. Moberly just beat them a few weeks ago, and that's an incredible win for Moberly. It's a statement win. That's going to be the win of the season for them, one that they remember. But Mexico is up in the matchup history 18-9 over the past 10 years. I think they take that personal, that last loss there to Moberly this season, and they win this one. Vashon versus Chaminade is the Class 4 game of the week. Give me Chaminade. Both teams scoring around 70 points per game. I expect a high-scoring matchup here. Harrisonville versus Center. I'm going Center here. They're 6-1 against Harrisonville since 2020-2021. They've won 8 of their last 10 this season. They're hot right now. I don't see them losing. Blair Oaks versus Osage. Blair Oaks is up 14-1 in the matchup history over the past 10 years, allowing 49.8 a game. That's going to be a big thing in this one. Can the defense play well against an Osage team that's scoring a lot of points this season? Class 5 from this past week. McClure North over Hazelwood East, 76-56. University City proves me wrong big time here and defeats Eureka 51-44. Carl Junction falls at home to Bolivar 68-60. Windsor Imperial goes on the road and gets a big win over Festus 61-53. Raytown South a statement win over Kearney 60-49. And Webb City now getting a little bit of top 10 attention. They defeat Willard 65-57. Here's the Class 5 scoreboard for this week. Westminster versus MICDS. I'll take Westminster here. They're down 11-13 in the matchup history over the past 10 years. I think they chip into that a little bit, make it 12-13. They're allowing 46.8 a game. Hillcrest versus Logan Rogersville. Give me Logan Rogersville on the road here. Number 1 team in Class 4. They're 10-4 over the past 10 years against Hillcrest, allowing 41.7 a game. Lincoln College Prep versus Rockbridge. I'm going to go with Rockbridge here. They got 9 straight wins against Lincoln. I think these two teams are just on different levels. Rockwood Summit versus Clayton. Rockwood Summit's been iffy this year. I'm going to go with Clayton here, scoring at a high clip, 74.6 a game. Senior night in Jefferson City, Helias versus Smith Cotton. I will take Helias here, 10 straight wins against the guys out from Sedalia, scoring 64.3 a game. I'll take the Satyrs. Webster Groves versus Jackson is the Class 5 game of the week. I will take the Statesmen in this one. They've got 15 straight wins against Jackson. They did just drop 2 games, so they're going to look to bounce back in this one. Class 6 from this past week. Lee Summit over Blue Spring South 64-51. Kickapoo with a big win over their rival Nixa 71-60. Staley defeats Lee Summit North 72-54. Liberty on a game winner over Oak Park 54-53. Chaminade, they almost blow this one. They're up big against DeSmet. DeSmet comes back but could not quite get it done. 58-56 is your final in favor of the Red Devils. And Battle defeats Helias 65-57. Here's your Class 6 scoreboard. Blue Spring South versus Staley. I'll take the Falcons in this one. 5-1 over Blue Spring South since 2020, 2021. They're on a bit of a slip right now, so I can see the Jags getting this one done, but I think Staley might snap out of it right here before the playoffs. Kickapoo versus Republic. I will take the Chiefs. They've got 8 straight wins against Republic. They're scoring 66 a game. I've got them at number 3 in Class 6 right now. I've got them rated higher than I think everybody else in the state right now. I believe in these guys. Liberty versus Park Hill South. I'll take Park Hill South in this one. 10-9 in the matchup history since 15-16. They won by 20 points back on January 27th. I expect a closer matchup in this one with the Panthers getting it done. DeSmet versus Vianney. DeSmet's up 17-8 in the matchup history since 2015-2016, but they've already lost twice this year to Vianney. I expect a really tough matchup here. It's just super hard to beat the same team 3 times in the same season. I'm going to take DeSmet getting the third matchup done. Francis Howell Central versus Francis Howell. I'll take Central here. They are down 21-2 in the matchup history. They've been getting dominated by Francis Howell, but they're having an incredible season. Central's ranked top 10 right now. They're scoring 71.4 a game. I think they turn around this matchup history in this one. Oak Park versus North Kansas City is the Class 6 game of the week. I'll take Oak Park. They've got 8 straight wins against North Kansas City. They're looking to hold this top 5 spot. They beat North Kansas City a few weeks back, 67-65. I expect a close matchup. And like I said, this is for a top 5 spot in the rankings. I expect the Northmen to hold it. That's all we got for today. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.